we're here in the Rosslare Maritime Heritage Centre, and you've got a medal in your hand. That belonged to your grandfather, was that right?
That's right, Michael. It's the silver medal that was awarded from the King of England, George, for the rescue of the Mexico in 1914.
1914.
Yeah,
And your grandfather and his brother were on that team, were that right?
they were on the crew. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were coxswain, and my grandfather was second coxswain, James, and Edward was coxswain.
And that was it February 19...
February 1914. Yeah.
And what was the story behind that rescue, do you know?
The Mexico was the name of the sailing ship, and it was from Norway, and it was out in Mexico, I think a place called Laguna, loading mahogany for Liverpool. And it left, and it ran into very bad weather coming across the Atlantic. It went into the Azores for repairs, and after that then the steering went, and it ended up in Portugal. It left Portugal and it came up the Irish Sea, and he ran into another storm, and he got closer to the Wexford coast off the Hook, and he couldn't turn, and she ran into the Killanerin, and the feathered lifeboat put to sea, and there was 9 of them lost. It turned over, and one of the crew of the Mexico from Portugal, he perished on the Killanerin, and he's buried in Castletown.
And this was the Mexico here,
That's
a painting of it or a sketch
that's a
of it?
painting of it.
Yeah. And was that the Rosslare crew there beside it, was it?
That's the Rosslare crew, I presume.
Yeah, yeah. And the Rosslare crew came to the rescue as such, did they?
Yes, they were. I'll name them now for you.
Yeah.
Coxswain Edward Wickham, second coxswain James Wickham, John Welch, William Shield, William Duggan, Christopher Doyle, Andrew Doyle, they were 2 brothers, Moses Furlong, Philip Duggan, John Mitten, and William Shield.
And the two men here in the middle, that's your grandfather here.
And his brother, yes.
That's the 2 men there. They're very similar looking.
Yeah.
Which one was your grandfather? Can you point out to me?
This was my grandfather.
And the other one was his brother.
Yeah.
And your grandfather was awarded, and they were awarded All Ireland medals.
Yeah, my grandfather was awarded an All-Ireland medal with William Duggan.
And your brother has the All Ireland medal, is that right?
My cousin Fergus has the All-Ireland medal. Matt has the Norwegian medal,
Yeah.
and Billy has another medal.
And you have that one there. And can you show me that one there, that medal you have there? What is that again?
That's
And there's different writing on them for different. That's. What one's that for, Brian?
that is a symbol of pulling a person from the sea, from drowning. I think what's on it, now I'll show you, Michael. Let not the deep swallow me up, I think it's on it.
Written on the side of it, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There it is, there, if you can see it there, along there.
Yeah. Let not the deep swallow me up, yeah. And there was a writing on the side as well, wasn't there, you were showing me?
Yes, that was for another rescue in 19. I can't see it now.
Yeah. I can get a detailed shot later on. That was for another rescue.
Yeah, and that symbolises that,
Yeah.
the other rescue.
Yeah. And that was King George, the English king, on the front of it, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So they got three countries given medals: Great
Yeah.
Britain, Ireland, and
Norway.
And did your grandfather talk much about any of those rescues?
Not really. I was only young boy, and I remember him. He was remember him quite well. He when they moved down to the tin town from the fort when it was washed away, he built houses down there, and he built a big black shed, and he used to make nets and build boats there, cots.
So he moved down from the fort when the fort washed away.
That's right, Michael.
Yeah, down to Tintown. And that's where his family all came out of the fort.
Yes, yeah.
And nothing left in the fort anymore.
No, there's ruins there over the low water. You can see there's blocks of the foundations.
Yeah.
And there's an iron post symbolising the shallow part there.
Okay, but that was it.
They call it the Fort Reaches when you're coming out of Wexford.
Right. Yeah. And so were all the Wickhams involved in the lifeboats?
Yeah, my great grandfather, my grandfather, my father, and myself were. That's 5 generations, is it? 4 generations.
4 generations. And what did the man do for a living? Was he out fishing or a bit of
Yeah,
farming?
they'd all done a bit of fishing, and my father was in the lifeboat, full time.
Yeah.
He got Rosslare was unique in that they were the only crew that was paid a full-time wage.
Right.
In Ireland.
And was that because of the close proximity to the harbour?
Yes, and the ferries and.
Yeah, yeah. And when the fort disappeared, where did the lifeboat station move down to then?
It moved to Wexford for a little while, and then it came down here.
Down to the harbour?
Yeah.
Down to the harbour.
Mm.
And there was none in the harbour before that?
No.
None.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure because my mother's father was coxswain of the lifeboat too.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah. And this photograph here, do you have any other photographs of your grandfather at all at home?
Oh, I have some at home, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And where's he buried, Brian?
Up in Kilrane.
Up in Kilrane.
And his brother is buried in Goat.
In Goat, yeah. Mm. And was there much of a do when that rescue when they came home? Was there big celebrations locally? Or?
Not really. Not that I recall. The only thing I've read about was when they were passing the Conning Beg lightship, they were all shouting and waving at the crew going by on their way home.
Lord. And how many men did they save down from that ship, from the schooner?
Oh, fan, now I wouldn't be able to tell you, Michael, exactly how many. Because there was some of the feathered lifeboat too that was there, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And 9 of it, was it 9 of the feathered men drowned?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a tragic loss for the whole community.
Big loss. Gosh, it was terrible.
And you were saying that your own grandfather, it took him out for 3 days, was that right?
That's right, yeah.
3 days?
Yeah.
And where did he go first before?
He went to they tried to rescue him, but it was too bad when they got there. And they had a rough passage around, like, even though the tug Wexford was towing.
That's the tug Wexford, is it? She's there somewhere.
There she is there.
Yeah.
Captain Busher was on that, and there's the crew of the tug. You know, John MacDonald, Bartholomew Carty, Peter Hamilton, Captain Busher, John Harper and John Furlong.
So they were the two. And why would they have to pull it out? Because to get it out far enough out?
That time it was rowing and a sail. That was their only way of the lifeboats used to work then. But they had no other means of getting it there.
That helped.
Yeah, actually they wouldn't have got there only for the Wexford tug.
The Wexford tug, and she was steam, was she?
She was steam paddle tug.
Lord, she brought him out. And it was 3 days. They were gone for 3 days.
Yes.
3 days.
Mm.
And did he talk about it much? Your grandfather or your uncle?
No.
Never.
The only other thing, the other rescue my father was at, well, he was at a lot, but one in particular was the World Concord. She broke in two, Onassis owned it, or Jacqueline Kennedy's husband, and they were gone for 3 days too. And they ended up in Holyhead. And Onassis flew from Greece to Holyhead, and he gave them £5 each of the crew after rescuing them.
What year was that? 59, was that?
Yeah.
That was
John, 54.
54, sorry, yeah. 54. That was the World Concord. That
World Concord, yeah.
Leo Carty sang.
That's right, yeah.
Good Lord. And your father was on?
My father was on that, yeah. That rescue.